I'm really questioning whether I should have summoned on the key. Not really, but at the same time, kind of. I do still think I was right, summoning for it before I got Nilou. Eventually, I'll get Nilou, I guess. I just don't want to rerun. Sad. The key does not seem too good. I'll just put it that way. I'm trying to figure out, is it actually that good for Kuki? This weapon has a lot of EM, which is something she wants right now. Right now, she is a massive, you want as much EM. You want to just trigger the hyperblooms, right? She is your triggerer of hyperblooms. This also buffs her HP to almost 40,000. This is me on a full EM set. I don't have a lot of HP stats. This weapon is insane for HP. It increases by 66% here, and then for some reason another 20%. I don't know why, but they decided it needs 20% in the passive. But the problem is, with this weapon, it can't be triggered off field, which I didn't know. I figured that this weapon would be easily the best in slot for Kuki. You're not switched into Kuki on this team. This team, you're switching Nahida. You can't proc its passive off field, so nobody's getting EM after you use it. It's literally just an HP stick, unless you stay in with Kuki, which is what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna use Nahida's burst just because I want to see how much this thing is actually providing. And realistically, yeah, sure, for the first couple seconds, 3 seconds when you're switched into Nahida's burst, you will end up seeing that massive amount of damage. I saw 36,000 with Nahida's massive EM buff. My Nahida should not have EM. My Nahida does not need EM because Kuki is triggering, right? And Kuki is not on field. Nahida is. Nahida's the one triggering. So it would be way better for me to do a DPS Nahida build than to have Nahida like this, which is something I did not realize. I'm going to be using her for Nilou Bloom, which is definitely what this build is for. So we're going to try one team. I just need to test this one team. Okay. All right, that hit him. Hit him again. I should probably be doing this. Okay. So now the hyperblooms are doing some damage. I didn't even see it. All right. So there's 13,000. There's 32,000, I think. 29,000. No, that was not 29,000. Something. 33,000. All right, so that's what we were looking for. All right, 33,000 is what we were looking for. Man, that was hard to see. So 33,000 in the blooms. That's what you're gonna be hitting. Also, my Nahida gets up to 1,000 EM. Nice. Finally. It only took me until I got this weapon to get to 1,000 EM. But you could see the EM that I have on these characters. Like, it goes up like by over 100, I think. And then Kuki's EM falls at 940. So 33,000, that's pretty good. But there's a big problem here. You have to stay in with Kuki for the first 3 seconds. Because what Kuki does is she hits the enemy once every 1.5 seconds. And in order to proc this weapon, you have to hit him with the E skill 3 times. Hopefully, you don't miss the enemy once. Otherwise, yeah, that's a pretty bad DPS loss. So, this weapon, most likely, just not the best damage for her. Also, another thing. Would you look at this? Crit rate in all of these weapons. Also, look at that elemental damage bonus. Yeah. This weapon hits for 32,000. I'll show you now. I'm gonna show you what kind of damage we're looking at for Kuki. So this is really our damage. Well, let's make sure to get rid of that. And 28,000. All right, so I was off by a lot. I remember now the 32,000 was with Nahida, right? I had Nahida's buff active and I was using Kuki, right? So that's what happened. That is a pretty big difference. Depending if you're like on it and you're able to switch to Nahida and start like seriously getting blooms. So say Nahida converted the character's damage to Dendro, then Kuki would be amazing because she would just sit in there, have Nahida's buff, all of these characters' EM buffs, but she doesn't. And well, we saw basically what it was 16% extra elemental damage bonus, so like 28% elemental damage bonus there. So I'm going to show you the burst difference between Kuki with the key and then without the key, and we'll see what damage they look like, right? So I'm just going to show you the raw burst between Mist Splitter and the key, and we're going to see what the damage difference is, because the amount of HP that Kuki gets is a pretty a like huge amount of HP. So I don't want to. It could definitely end up being better. So let's see what the damage is. 2,000. All right, we're gonna say 2,000. Okay, that's it. All right, I'm not gonna. 2,000, and that's the crit hits. All right. So now let's switch to the key, and I'll show you the final results of what my testing has proven. Please crit. Okay, 1,800. So we're easily able to tell, you know, that's the damage. Now, hey, the burst, it really don't matter. As you saw, we got like 4 hits out of it. So, like, it's not some huge thing, right? But in an AoE situation, it is a pretty huge thing, right? Like for small enemies to deal like repeatedly a massive amount of damage compared to what normally is. And also, this was 2 tests below. We were easily able to see that we only lost like 200 damage on the burst. Basically, when I was recording, I kind of forgot that damage bonus doesn't affect these. If you decrease opponent's Denjo res, then it's going to do more damage. So I was like, of course the damage bonus, you know, helps out these reactions. It doesn't. I don't know why I thought that. So I, in the video, said, hey, these weapons are her best in slots, or like these weapons are not her best in slot. I came out with the conclusion that this is her best in slot. There's a problem. I don't think this one is either, really. Well, no, it is her best in slot. I will say that. Definitely her best in slot. But behind that is Iron Sting and Xiphos Blade. Because guess what? These weapons give EM. And, well, let's just use these. Because treat this weapon as actually the bare minimum. So, from what you've seen, treat it as if we're just using a weapon on Kuki for the sake of using a weapon. It doesn't matter if this thing was level 1, we would have done the same stuff. So that was Kuki at bare minimum. So at bare minimum, she's hitting 28,000, which you've already seen. So we're going to test out Iron Sting now. Iron Sting is a weapon that gives EM. I do believe it is, or Freedom Sworn is also a really good weapon. But really, you're not getting, it would be like an Al-Haytham team is where you would get Freedom Sworn usage out of. But most of the time, I doubt that you're getting Freedom Sworn to be the best in slot. Actually, it is the best in slot, I imagine. This would actually, there would be more EM, and then there would actually be buffs other than the EM. But overall, not many EM swords in the game, which is why this sword is so, you know, unique, good, and I don't know how to say it. But we're just gonna show this, right? So we saw, okay, that doesn't really matter though. Alright, so we saw that, and we're hitting it for 30,000 when like that. And let's see what kind of damage we can do. 32,000. Alright, I think it's very clear to a certain extent. Yeah, this weapon, really all of its benefits is the fact that she has more HP, which is good. I'm not gonna lie. Kuki, as of right now, her having 28,000 HP, that is a pretty big difference. There is a difference, right? Let's look at how much she heals here. 24,000, all right? Let's switch weapons. 27,000, 27,000. I might need to do this again. No, 27,000. Okay, I could have sworn I've seen 3,900. I feel like I've definitely almost seen that. But hey, that's another thing. Okay, but the real thing is, like I said, the amount of health she has. That 40,000 health almost is really, really nice. I definitely like the 40,000 health just because it makes her way more tanky. Because Kuki loses 30% of her HP, also this is only a level 7, so it's only going to get more and more. Like, look, 4.5, it goes to 4.8. Let me look at a level 12. So at level 12, we're looking at 6% HP. That is going to be, you know, a bigger difference than, you know, 300 HP. That's going to be around like a 500-ish, maybe. I don't know exactly. But Kuki is getting something out of this. Now, in terms of DPS, this is not her best in slot. I'm just going to say that. Like, it just actually isn't her best in slot for DPS. I think, honestly, at this point, Iron Sting is, or Xiphos Blade. I'll probably switch my Kuki onto Iron Sting once this is done, because this is just more damage. Because this thing doesn't help. Oh wow, look at the crit rate. Oh man, that's such greatness. If this thing was able to be procced off field, it would be Kuki's no doubtably #1 best in slot, but it's not able to be procced off field. So sadly, it's not. I don't know if this applies to blooms, because if so, this would probably be Kuki's best in slot. 32% more. I have a feeling that it doesn't, because this just feels like it's damage bonus, which is not what gets affected with blooms. So yeah, it depends if this is affected. This might be one of her best in slots, but considering I've seen nobody talk about this, also I saw nobody talk about Iron Sting or Xiphos. Listen, if you want damage, then it's Iron Sting, Xiphos, and then this weapon. This weapon I think comes in at 3rd. Unless you're going into Spiral Abyss, I could see you using this to keep your Kuki alive. Because a lot of times when I'm running a team like this and I'm not, running Zhongli on it, there is a problem with keeping Kuki alive because she kills herself over the period of like 4 chambers, right? That is a problem that Kuki faces. That is a serious problem. So we come into here and we're like, hey, give us 10,000 HP. Then it gives us that HP and it's like, oh, this is so great. Let's see how many stacks does it take. Let's see if maybe 2 stacks. Because if we can get away with 2 stacks, then I think I can say that the key is better. If we can get away with just saying, oh, 2 stacks of this weapon and the key is better, 2 stacks, 815. 3 stacks, 940. So, yeah, you can't actually get away with it. The amount of EM you get from the key is dependent. Huh? That's really weird. Wait, I still have the key buff. I got a little bit more EM because I put on the sword, but let's wait for this buff to go away because it's the key buff. We gotta wait. There we go. Now there's our actual... Is it our actual EM? Maybe it's not. Hold on. It is our actual EM. But there's that. It takes 3 stacks for us to be able to actually get Kuki to be past 886 EM. I mean, there's a chance that maybe if we stacked HP on Kuki, then it would be better, but there's no need to stack HP on Kuki. She's not going to do damage. That's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.